Hello and welcome to Crimewatch. Welcome to our new surroundings,
where we're positively surrounded by 30 detectives from Liverpool, from Glasgow, from Cumbria, from the Midlands and elsewhere, all waiting to take your calls. And they're calls that get results. Since Crimewatch started, 53 killers have been caught and convicted as a direct result of viewers spotting vital clues.
And our first case tonight is really a case in point, whether you can help us about the killing of a teenager. It's going to be a real test of what you can do to bring an investigation to a close that really up to now seems to have hit something of a brick wall. These days, this is all that Christine Jones sees of her 18-year-old son, Andrew. This sculpture was made after what happened to him on a Saturday night out in Liverpool.
You don't spill it down your shirt like last time, like.
Oh, it was a mess last time, wasn't it? You got the game tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to the game, yeah. Should be a good game. Something's kicking off there. Just come have a look. With a head injury.
That lad's on the ground. It's my son. He was punched in the face, knocked to the ground, banged his head on the curb and died of internal bleeding. He was just out for a quiet drink with his mates 3 years later and still haven't got no justice for him.
Right, good morning everyone. Just to bring you all up to speed, Andrew Jones was killed 3 years ago. We did get a man to court, but unfortunately the case fell apart at court. We've carried out a major review and we've re-interviewed all witnesses, and this is where we're up to. Andrew and his mates left the Barcelona club about 3:15 a.m. on Sunday the 9th of March. And at exactly the same time, across town, at a club called The Other Place, 8 people were also leaving. Here's the CCTV. This is the group leaving The Other Place nightclub. We know who they all are. We've spoken to all of them. One of these people is just 5 minutes away from killing Andrew Jones. The question is, which one? So we've got Andrew and his friend walking along Hanover Street here, and the group of 8 walking along Gradwell Street here. As luck would have it, we actually had a couple of uniforms parked up in a police vehicle about here, and also a couple of taxis in the area as well.
Look forward to my scoffs tonight, mate. Packers.
Every time you talk about food, it makes me hungry.
And it's here, near this corner, that Andrew bumps into a member of the group.
Are you playing it?
Here are the 8 people who all say they were part of the group. One of these people threw the fatal punch. Let's discount the 2 girls. They say they were looking the other way anyway. That leaves us with 6 people. 4 of these people say they didn't see the punch. It seems they may have been looking the other way too. 2 left. Now one of these 2 did see the punch. Unfortunately, he said he saw it come from behind him, and he didn't see who threw it. 1 left. Now this man has consistently refused to tell us what happened. The fellow who says he saw the punch says the attacker was wearing a long-sleeved black top. And we've got a couple of taxi drivers who say they saw the same thing. But here's where it gets interesting. We've actually got 2 independent witnesses, both of whom say they saw the punch, and both of whom say the attacker wore a light-coloured top. So we've got a dark-coloured top and a light-coloured top. It doesn't take a genius, does it, to work out that someone in the group is lying to us. Two of the group ran off in the direction of Williamson Square. Did anyone see them? Why are they suddenly so keen to use the telephone?
You related to Andrew Jones?
Yeah, why?
We know who done it.
What do you mean you know?
We know who done him. It was I'm saying that now.
Yeah, I'll come back. What do you mean? You're back here?
You see, it's not just the two fellas in the sunbed shop. There will be other people who've talked about this and who know what happened. And I need them to come forward and talk to us.
I'm on antidepressants. Some mornings don't even want to get out of bed. Every night when I go to bed, I pray to God that I don't wake up. Because I don't want to wake up. There's no point. The day after Andrew's funeral, I tried to take my own life. I just felt like I just couldn't cope. And I still feel like that now. I just can't cope. People say to me, well, you've got other kids to look after. I'd sooner be up there waiting for them to come to me instead of me being down here waiting, watching them go up. This appeal on Crimewatch tonight is my last attempt to get justice for Andrew. So if there's anybody out there, please come forward and help us to do just that. I'm begging you. I'm begging you so much, my arse is aching. Please just come forward and help us.
Well, hearing Andrew's mum there, anyone who's got half a heart, who's shielding his killer, really has got to think about this and what they're doing to the family. It's 3 years on, but the police aren't dropping this. Now, as things stand, you've got 8 people out there. Someone's dubbed them the Liverpool 8. And I just don't believe that they didn't see it. But if 1, 2, 3 or more of them are having second thoughts and are prepared to speak to you now, it's difficult for them, isn't it? Because they've told you up to now they haven't seen anything.
Well, my main focus is actually to catch the killer of Andrew Jones. And through the reconstruction tonight, it may be we jog somebody's memory from the group. It may be they get a pang of conscience. I'd be welcome them with open arms, really, to come forward and speak to us.
Now, if they don't, if they continue not to come forward, I mean, presumably, in months or years to come, there's a very serious charge. There's a conspiracy issue here about keeping quiet. There's obstructing justice. There are all sorts of offences people could conceivably be charged with.
Yeah, I mean, if I get evidence of any conspiracy, whether it be from the 8 people involved or allegedly involved, or whether it be from people outside that group, then I can assure them quite clearly that Merseyside police are going to follow that up very vigorously.
Now, there are people outside that group because they were there at the telephone. They realised they'd done something wrong. This doesn't look like a premeditated murder in any shape or form, so this will have spread like wildfire through their friends. A lot of people will know who did this. As we saw, a couple were trying to split on them quite early on.
Yeah, well, the group will have talked about it themselves and convinced of that to each other. The offender will have told somebody, whether it be his girlfriend, his parents, somebody within his family and his group of friends. And so I would urge one of those people or all of those people really to come forward and tell us about it.
Well, presumably, some of these people, and certainly whoever threw the punch, will be praying that this dies down. It's 3 years on. I think they'll be quite surprised that you're still pursuing this as vigorously as you are.
Well, Merseyside police aren't in the business of dropping an investigation into the death of any individual. And when I retire from the police, somebody else will be picking this up.
Are you serious?
I am serious, yeah. Somebody else will be picking this up, reviewing it regularly, looking at the forensic evidence. Can we advance any forensic issues? Looking at the witness statements regularly and pursuing it until we actually find this killer.
You think you are going to find who did it?
I'm convinced we will, yeah. With the help of the community and with the help of the people who are actually there.
You are getting a lot of help from the community because there was a petition, literally, thousands of people signed a petition to get this on Crimewatch. Now, in fact, we were looking at the case anyway, but I mean, sure, we were much impressed by that. You must have been as well. This is an open sore in Liverpool. It just won't go away.
Well, we can only imagine what the parents of Andrew are actually feeling. What we can do is empathise with how frustrated they are, and the community are frustrated as well, because they know that we know the group who did this. We just can't prove it against one individual. And the people of Merseyside actually look after their own. So the community is tight on this and is actually with us in solving it.
Supposing the guy who threw the punch says, look, this is not going to go away. I accept that. I'll come forward. But look, I punched the guy. That's all I did. I didn't intend to kill him. What's going to happen to him?
Well, at the end of the day, I can't say exactly what the courts will do, but certainly from my perspective, that would be the honourable thing to do. It was one punch. It happened at the city centre on a busy night, on a Saturday into a Sunday morning. So I would urge the individual really to look at his conscience and to come forward and speak to us.
Maybe look at what the Crown Prosecution Service and indeed what the jury will think. Rather better for you if you come forward yourself. And anyway, we say it again, if you are one of those Liverpool 8 or know them, who they are, what happened, if you've heard about who did it, please give us a call. No act of loyalty to whoever threw that punch that killed Andrew could outweigh the agony that it's putting his parents through. Please, if you know something, tell us, call us here in the studio, or call the Instant Room on 0151 777 8676. And you can see this and other numbers and cases tonight on the website, which is bbc.co.uk/crime.
Still to come, there's been a lot of talk about knife crime. Maybe there'd be a bit less of it if people saw what this man sees.
Why would anybody want to stick a knife into somebody's body when, if you haven't had several years surgical training and experience, it's a completely random chance whether or not you kill that person?
Well, Rudy Crawford is a qualified anatomist, so he should know. More from him later. And here's an arrest police didn't make earlier.
Mr. Ramsey?
Yes?
Police?
Yes?
You're arrested for fraud, sir.
Well, the man taken away in handcuffs was Glasgow accountant Andrew Ramsey. But the men taking him away weren't the Glasgow police, but kidnappers. Who were they? In a case that's gripped Scotland, we'll be asking, where is Andrew Ramsey now?
And where are any of these guys? These are tonight's wanted faces. We'll tell you what they've been up to later.
But still fresh in all our minds is the murder of Special Constable Nisha Patel Nasri. Nisha was stabbed to death on a doorstep in Wembley in North London. Somebody knows who did it. If that someone's you, call us in confidence. Your name need never come out. There's now a big reward to bring Nisha's killer to justice. It stands at £40,000.
19-year-old Marsha McDonnell was killed by blows to her head just near her home in Hampton in southwest London. That was 3 years ago. Now, as you may have seen on the news, a nightclub doorman, Levi Belfield, has been charged with her murder.
Last month we asked if you could identify this Colombian cocaine dealer going by the name Xavier. Well, now we've got his real name. A caller rang in to say he's Dayadier Gonzalez Jaramillo and he lives in Kennington in South London. Tell us if you've come across him because he's dangerous. Among other things, he's also wanted for robbing and stabbing a travel agent.
4 years ago, a teenager was raped in Great Harwood in Lancashire. The attacker followed her home, watched her through a back window, then he went and knocked on the door, bundled her inside and raped her.
I'm like a little child. I can't sleep on my own, I can't go upstairs on my own. I just feel like I can't do anything that I used to do. I can't ever imagine life being like it used to be.
We had near on 100 calls on the night, but the trail went cold. There was no DNA match on the national database. Then, though, he struck again early last year, raping 2 young women in Nelson and Burnley, near where he lived. Turned out he was a property developer, Sean Greenwood. He led a double life, respectable family man by day, a predator by night. He's been found guilty of 3 counts of rape. He'll be sentenced later.
Here's another result you may have heard about. Linda and Tony O'Malley from North Wales flew to Spain to find a retirement villa. But their dream of a life in the sun was brought to a dreadful end by 2 men who lured them into their property scam. They were kidnapped and held hostage and forced at gunpoint to withdraw thousands of pounds from their bank account. 5 days later, Tony and Linda were killed and buried in the cellar of a villa in Alcoy. Last month, Venezuelans Jorge Real Sierra and Juan Antonio Velasquez Gonzalez got jail sentences running to 116 years.
Now a Crimewatch case going back 18 years. A driving instructor, Keith Slater, was stabbed to death on his doorstep in Hessel near Hull. It was apparently by a man who came asking for him by name. Now, some pretty interesting information came in from viewers at the time, but it wasn't enough to bring a prosecution. Last month, though, detectives flew to Australia to escort Martin Brown, who originally comes from East Yorkshire, back to Britain to stand trial.
And another old case with a new twist. 16 years ago, we asked for help to find 2 men who beat and raped a young woman before dumping her semi-conscious in a canal.
somehow she found the strength to escape. Now, we got names, but there was never enough proof. Then last year, new DNA techniques pointed to Yonis Adiri. Last month, he started 10 years in jail. We're still, though, looking for the rapist who was with him. Now, this is what he looked like 16 years ago. He was probably then living in the Stratford area of East London. Call us, tell us who he is and where he is.
Now, 3 young girls, 2 of them barely teenagers, went last June to see the great annual spectacle that's Appleby Horse Fair in Cumbria. But their happy innocence that day had, by the end of it, been taken from them by a gang of older boys. So just last week, we gave the girls cameras to go back to this year's Appleby Horse Fair, with a police team in the background to protect them, to see if they could find the gang who attacked them. The hunters were now being hunted.
Please don't hurt me. I don't want to.
Come on. I won't hurt you.
Please don't hurt me. I don't want to.
Well, I do.
I don't even know. Don't tell me why. That's not fair. I wasn't even going to wear it, but then I thought I might as well. Should we get shot? Yeah, definitely. Should we get some other Yeah.
We were like good friends, all 3 of us, and like in the holidays we done everything together. At the time we were dead in horses and I used to go riding all the time.
We arranged that we'd meet up at a certain time, so we're like, we won't get lost, and because we didn't have our phones on us, because we thought that we were going in the river with the horses.
Should we go down that lake? Yeah, let's just...
We walked about like all together, watching the horses go past, and then we walked down the river, and we were stood watching the horses and that in the river.
Too hot.
Oi! Here I go.
I'll go anywhere. Please, there, we're fine. Which one?
How you doing? Alright?
Yeah, thanks.
Paddy from Ireland. Nice to see you.
So we were like talkative and did Kenny at first. Someone said, oh, what's your name? And he said his name was Paddy. And then when we seen the other boy, he said his name was Paddy, and then I think it was my friend, she went, so both of you are called Paddy, shouldn't I think you're lying there? And he went, no, he went with second cousins.
You like fun?
We do.
You want to have some fun?
Not with you.
What?
So it's still quite flirty and that, but then when we went like flirty back, they like started to get like aggressive.
Are you alright, girls? What?
Where you going?
What you doing?
Want to walk, you know?
Where are you lads from?
Just around, you know?
Do you want to walk with us? Do you want to come back to the bridge with us?
Yeah, we'll go back.
Yeah? Yeah, come on.
We'll see you in a bit, alright? We'll catch up with you later. See ya.
Came behind us and they were like, oh, there's them lasses again.
Get rid of us.
I think we went off with them because we weren't used to like attention like that. We weren't used to being talked to by boys and stuff like that. We were just flattered by all the attention.
It's alright.
They started like pulling us away from each other.
No, it's just on the floor.
One of the lads got me and the other lads got my friends. And they were like trying to walk faster, so we pulled away from each other.
Hey, come on, I know you like me, don't worry. I know you like me.
Stop it.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
You guys stay there.
Wait, Tommy. Don't leave me. Hold on a minute, where's she going? No, where's she going? We can't leave her. We can't leave her.
He like started pulling my trousers down, and I like tried to push him off and that, and he pushed me against the fence and then pulled his trousers down. They were saying to the boy, Andy, they were saying, if you don't take her on the horse box, then we will. Meaning, like, if you don't do it to them, we're going to anyway.
Sit down.
He started kissing my neck and tried to start to kiss me, and I was trying to pull him away, but he was like that strong. He was like trying to keep hold of me. I was like, just leave me alone, just leave me alone. Why did they do it? Why me? Why anyone? It's a horrible thing to do. And I just realised, do they know that how much they've put me through?
Well, we're going to Appleby Fair. It's a very important day for us because I'm hoping that we can identify 5 young lads who were involved in a rape of 3 girls last year. Not only do we have good descriptions of these boys, we have video footage and we have DNA evidence. We expect in the region of 50,000 people here today. It's a massive event for the travelling and gypsy community, and for that reason I suspect that those responsible for the attacks may very well be back here today. And as we speak, the girls are with officers walking around the fair trying to identify those boys. We've just had a contact from officers saying that they think they may have made a visual identification of one of our offenders. So one of the girls has gone up to the field to see if it actually is the person we're looking for. One of the victims has been to where the sighting was and come face to face with the person they thought might be responsible, and it turns out it's not him. So we'll keep trying anyway.
I expected to see them, like, I wanted them to pay for what they'd done, and I was like walking about and I hated it. I hated being back there again, and I was just somewhere where I don't want to go ever again.
All this hard work and effort what everyone's put in, thinking that we would catch him this year. They haven't been caught and they could be out somewhere else doing it with other lasses, and they're going to be going through the same what we have.
Well, Mark, first things first, the actors we use in our reconstruction there are quite a lot older than the boys and the girls who actually took part in this. I mean, the girls are barely teenagers, weren't they?
That's right. I mean, this was a predatory attack on 3 young girls who were very naive, and in fact 2 of them were barely teenagers at the time of the attack.
And what do we know about the boys who did it?
The boys are 5 of them in total. We know that 3 of them were fairly short. One of them, the main offender who actually raped 2 girls, was called Paddy and had a distinctive broken nose referred to as a boxer's nose.
There was another boy who called himself Paddy, and I'm right, that he didn't take part in any of the sexual assaults at all. I mean, it would be good for him if he came forward now.
Yes, it would. For locating Paddy too would be excellent for us.
And it would go a lot better for him as well, as far as the police and the courts are concerned, presumably.
Yes, it would. I have no reason to believe that he took part in any of the acts on the girls, but it would be in his interests at this stage to come forward, yes.
The 2 people that we saw who were by the canal when the girls were walking with the boys in the first instance, and they asked them if they wanted to, they could clearly see something was going wrong and asked if they wanted to come with them. You need to talk to them, don't you?
We do. It's evident that those 2 people recognise the dangers to the girls. They're described as being in their early 50s. They mentioned that they'd been just to the fair for that day and were travelling home, so we believe that they were travelling from outside the county.
I'm sure if they're watching, they'll remember that incident from last year. And then the attacks took place on the Belgravia estate, didn't they? And there are 2 cars, the owners of which you want to trace.
Yes, as the girls first walked onto the estate, they walked past what's described as a Japanese 4x4, quite a large vehicle. It's possible that somebody was in that, possibly more people in that vehicle. and actually left prior to the attack taking place. The second vehicle, we believe, is a Land Rover which was hitched up to a horse box that was further into the estate where the actual assaults took place. I'd be interested to speak to anybody that may have been in the Jeep and also to the owner of that Land Rover.
Now, Billy Welsh, you're a gypsy and you've been going to the Appleby Fair, well, all your life.
Yes, correct.
Haven't you? I mean, this has really shocked the gypsy and traveller community.
We're absolutely devastated about it. I mean, we don't know if it was gypsies or travellers or non-travellers, non-gypsy. We don't know who committed this crime.
But I mean, you've talked to pretty much everyone you can find, haven't you, to try and find out?
We've been working really, really hard to try and solve this crime, working with the police. But we do not condone such activity, and it's totally against our way of life and our culture.
I mean, you have strong family values, don't you?
We do. We're very, very family orientated, and we're very protective of our children. And this has absolutely devastated our people, especially with it happening on Appleby Fair and the horse fair. So we've been working very closely with the police.
Now, it may be that people, you know, from within the traveller community, from within the gypsy community, may know something, they may be shielding somebody, and they may not feel particularly comfortable about talking to Mark or talking to the police. Can they talk to you?
Yes, they can. There may be somebody in the travelling community or gypsy community, or even from non-travelling, non-gypsy community, maybe even somebody amongst them. I would advise any of them, if they know anything, to come forward with any information. They can either go to Appleby Police, or they can come to me personally.
And how are they going to find you?
They'll find me. They know who I am.
Okay, Billy, Mark, thank you both very much. Call us here in the studio or call the Instant Room on 01768 217 419. Or if you want to talk to Billy direct, you'll know where to find him. If you've been a victim of crime, the victim support line is 0845 30 30 900. Now, Detective Constable Rav Wilding has 7 villains, all caught on camera.
And of the 7 deadly sins, the one that turns up most with this mob is greed. But the first one we're after is driven by something else. This man has a lot of hate in him, and he's about to pour it all over the pavement outside a Sikh temple in Bristol. Up go the flames. And up go the chances of catching him if we go back to that petrol station we saw him at a moment ago. In he comes. Note the telltale shirt sticking out. He talks calmly about buying the petrol before settling for this. And doing this with it. Nobody got hurt this time. We want his name before a next time. This bloke's not a fan of the human race either. He spots a 92-year-old lady with a stick in a Brighton cafe. She's almost blind. He's only blind to the idea of right and wrong and walks out with her bag, leaving her to beg for cash to get home. Where's his home? May not be Brighton. You tell us. 4 robbers terrorise a jeweller's in Winchester. The one in the flat cap is keen on waving a gun around. Another's in his mum's best rubber gloves. Catman's also donned a pair of specs. He pulls a panic button from this fella, while the other half of the quartet pull jewellery from cabinets. Let's see if we can pull Catman. Wonder what he looks like without it. Who remembers Benny Hill? This small bloke's doing a Turner's hymn in the Midlands and as far south as Luton. But he's no joke inside a building society. A threatening note, a gun, and he loads up with cash. Stand by the door again. Let's have another look at you. He's just 5'3". Just tell us who he is. So if you know the shorty in the beanie or any of the other 6, don't wait. The number's on your screen. Or of course you can text us. Just text 83199.
Ever since we took the first look at the new knife amnesty last month, it seems that stabbings that wouldn't normally make the front pages or the TV news bulletins, suddenly we're doing just that. In fact, knife killings have not gone up at all. They have stayed fairly constant over many years. But here on Crimewatch, we have been struck by one clear fact. For anybody using a knife, it's anyone's guess what the blade will do.
Most people think you talk about stab wounds and see these great big open gaping wounds, but a lot of the time it looks so insignificant, but it just depends how deep is the knife went in. It still never ceases to amaze me that somebody just swinging a knife indiscriminately and it's either catches their neck or their throat or their chest and that's them, they're dead. You get somebody with 4 or 5 wounds and has just been very, very lucky that it's not hit any major organs or any major vessels. And you get someone else who's just had one single stab wound which has hit a major organ. When they stab, they come up to stab right in the centre. I think if it's hit you right in the centre there, then it's okay. It's just a one sort of plunge and that's it, or run away and forget about it. But they've got their liver here, they've got their spleen, they've got their diaphragm, their lungs, and all it takes is one nick of one of the major organs running down it, or one of the major arteries, and they're in big, big trouble.
In this hospital alone, we see over 1,000 knife injuries a year. And that amounts to 3 a day on average, and of those, about 3 a week are serious or life-threatening. Sadly, I don't think there's anywhere else in Europe that sees the number of knife injuries that we do. To me, it's obvious how easy it is to kill somebody if you stab them anywhere in their body with a knife. I mean, I've just failed to understand why people can't see. You look how crowded the chest and the abdominal cavities are, and how close these vital organs are to the surface. And it's very easy just to stick a knife in that will catch the heart or in the neck to get the major blood vessels. I saw one young lad who died from being stabbed in the shoulder. And I know of another case of a young boy who was stabbed with a screwdriver in the armpit and bled to death. Okay, Alan, if you wouldn't mind turning round here. Now you can see several scars here, 1, 2, 3. These two in particular are in a danger area known as the cardiac danger area. Any one of these wounds could have been fatal. This one could easily have penetrated the lung, but this one here is very close to the spine and could have resulted in paralysis or could have damaged the blood vessels immediately behind the spine or even the heart.
They don't realise, or they don't care what they're going to do. They don't realise what damage is going to get done. It's one indiscriminate swing and it hits a certain part of the body. They don't know what it's going to hit, what artery or what vessel it's going to hit, and a couple of minutes later somebody's lying dead and our family's devastated.
I can remember just getting punched in the back as if I'd been punched in the back and punched in the back of the head, and then I realised that all the blood on my hands that I'd been stabbed.
I've seen so many young men die over the years. I get really sick and tired and angry at the sheer waste of human life.
When I woke up in the hospital, the doctors told me that I was a real lucky boy. I could have died because the knife was just inches away from my heart.
Why would anybody want to stick a knife into somebody's body when, if you haven't had several years surgical training and experience, it's a completely random chance whether or not you kill that person?
Well, if any of that makes anyone think twice about using a knife, just wrap it securely, take it to a police station instead. You'll find secure knife bins there. They're going to be there because of the amnesty for another 9 days. And as you may have heard, at the last count, I think over 17,000 blades had been handed in. That was quite some time ago. We think the figure is way over that now. Please add your knife to it.
Now, a baby found on the banks of a river is a traditional biblical image with a happy ending, isn't it? Sadly, that's not how it turned out for a little girl left by the River Alne near Stratford in Warwickshire. Here's DCI Adrian Pearson.
Here we are beside the River Alne at Warwickshire. It's a really beautiful place, and the family were out walking, enjoying some time together in this beautiful location. The family got here and they saw what they thought was a bag of rubbish. One of the children tapped it and it went into the water, and they saw to their horror that it contained the body of a baby. We call the baby Lily because this is such a beautiful place, and we know that she died shortly after she was born. We know that she hadn't been cared for, she'd never been fed, and her umbilical cord was still attached. But worst of all, she'd been badly beaten. In the bag in which we found baby Lily were some really important clues. Adult clothing, the most significant of which was this pair of pyjama bottoms. We need help to put all the pieces of the jigsaw together. This part of the river, that bag of clues, and a lady who was recently pregnant and isn't anymore.
Wait, let's take a look a bit more at these clothes that were bizarrely found in the bag that Lily was left in. Now, these pyjama bottoms, what can you tell us about these?
We can say that they're a size 12 to 14 ladies' pyjama bottoms sold in British home stores at Christmas 2001.
And they may belong to the mother, because they may not, we just don't know, do we?
Yeah.
And then this pyjama top, this wasn't in the bag here, let me just open it out here, but these go with the pyjamas, don't they?
This is the top that would have gone with those bottoms. Now, we haven't had that top They're somewhere in somebody's drawer, in somebody's bedroom, and we're hoping that someone might be able to recognise them.
There's also a pair of pants found in the bag as well.
Yeah, a pair of ladies' pants sold in 1998 at Debenhams, again size 12.
Now, it's the baby Lily had just been born, hadn't she? She hadn't had time to feed from her mother. I mean, it's possible, very likely, the mother's in some real distress about this.
Well, we know baby Lily was delivered without the help of a medical practitioner, so it must have been a really traumatic experience for Mum. We're really concerned about her. We know that baby Lily died as soon as she was born.
It was just 6 weeks ago. I mean, the mum may be thinking, if I come forward to police, even though she really wants to, she'll be in really bad trouble.
I can assure Mum, if she wants to come forward, we want her to. We want to talk to her. We assure her that she'll be treated with the utmost sensitivity and consideration, but we must find out what happened to her and what influenced her. And I'm sure that she must have confided in somebody. Baby Lily never had the chance to be heard. She never had the chance to ask for a mum. I'm convinced if she could, she'd ask for a mum to come forward before she's buried.
And yes, exactly. And that's one real reason for the mum to come forward, so at least she can come to baby Lily's funeral.
Absolutely.
Is it possible there was a third party involved?
I think it's very possible. I really can't think that baby Lily was carried by her mum for 9 months and then she went through the trauma of giving birth by herself and then was able to harm Lily in the way she was. There must have been someone else involved. I really think baby Lily's mum is in harm's way herself. She's at risk. Need to find out where she is.
Now detectives Jane Corrigan, Rav Wilding close in on wanted faces.
Ron Priestley's led a life of crime since he was 9. We now want him for forging £20 notes to the tune of over £4 million. Born and bred in Leeds, he may still be there, but he also has property in Spain. He was convicted in his absence and now has 8 years in jail waiting for him.
This woman deals crack cocaine. She calls herself Latoya, has a Jamaican accent, and was last seen in Wellingborough. Now we think she has family in the town and travels in by train, so if you're a Northamptonshire commuter, keep an eye out for her.
Have you seen Bangladeshi waiter Mohammed Karim? He's wanted on suspicion of trying to rape a customer at the Taj Mahal restaurant in Havant in Hampshire. He skipped bail and there's a good chance he's waiting tables somewhere else, maybe in Manchester. Maybe he served you recently.
And 29-year-old Joshua Carney is on the sex offenders register for indecently assaulting a 14-year-old boy. But instead of regularly reporting in, he's gone off the radar and is thought to be travelling around the country. Now, Carney uses several aliases. A favourite is Kieran O'Shea. He has a strong Irish accent, a silver ring in his right eyebrow, and a large birthmark on his back. So if you know where any of tonight's wanted faces are, just call us here in the studio, 0500 600 600.
Over the years, 67 rapists have been charged directly as a result of help from Crimewatch viewers, and we could be that much away from making it 68. This is a case we've already looked at once. It was a rape committed last November by this guy in distinctive white hat and shoes. 2 viewers have very much put us on his trail, but we haven't found him yet. At least we haven't caught up with him. Let's go back to the beginning and to the victim's distressing 999 call.
Listen, I need some information off you. Where's the person who done this? Do you know?
Well, I know he's a black guy with a hat on.
Right. And he raped you, yeah?
Yes.
This is our victim walking down Bromley High Street. She'd been out earlier on that evening with her friends. They had an argument, and that's the reason for the distance between them. This is again our victim walking down the high street. She thinks her friends are behind her, but they're not. This man was. This is the man who was following her. If you look carefully, the white hat, the white trainers, that's what's giving him away.
Well, Jim, we get a very good look at this.
Most of the calls came from Crimewatch on the night. However, sometime later, someone else came forward. That led us to a restaurant in Biggin Hill. 2 employees recognised the man from the CCTV as Joseph, the dishwasher. Their description tallied up, so now we had a name and an address. When we got to the address, it wasn't the rapist we found. It was a man who'd sold his identity so the rapist could get work. We're possibly dealing with an illegal immigrant. His real name is Alaji, and this is what he looks like. He was working in the spinning wheel in Biggin Hill under the name Joseph. This is something that might give him away. He's got a tattoo of USA on his right upper arm. We don't think he's a fan of America. The U stands for Usherman, which is the name of his son. The S for Sarah, the name of his wife, and his name, A, Alaji. It all adds up to being really close to getting this man. We need to do that to give this girl who was viciously raped her life back.
To know that we've got a little bit more information on this person, it does make me feel a little bit better on myself, but it's not going to help so much unless we do actually catch this person. He needs to be caught for what he's done.
Jim, you've got so much to go on this case. I just wonder if this chap Joseph Alaji, or whatever his real name is, or you think it is Alaji, is watching this tonight, and it ain't him, it's not him. I mean, what happens if he comes forward now?
I would urge him, if he is watching the programme, and he's got nothing at all to do with this, come forward, give his DNA. I'm not interested in any deception offences he may have committed. I'm looking for a rapist.
Really, that's the key thing for you, and if he did do it, I mean, you've got to have people shop him. We've got so much on him. You've got the E-fit for a start. Tell us everything you know about him, his height, his accent, and everything else.
He's aged between 25 to 30. He's 5'8" to 5'11". He's gone by the name Alaji, potentially Joseph. He's got a tattoo of USA. This is for him, his wife, and his child on his right upper arm. We've got an E-fit which has been shown to the public.
Yeah, and that's an E-fit, I think, compiled by about 3 people, so we're pretty solid. That's pretty good. And this tattoo, of course, you wouldn't normally see it because it's quite high on his arm, but
yeah, that's what
you would know. And of course, this DNA. You've got a very good DNA profile, so if people can say it's him, you can check whether it is the right guy very quickly.
That means with a simple test we can eliminate innocent people from this inquiry.
Well, call us here in the studio, or you can call the instant room as well. That's 0208 284 8774.
Andrew Ramsey has apparently disappeared from the face of the earth. I say apparently because if you go to Glasgow, where he went missing 4 months ago, you'll find enough stories about Andrew Ramsey to fill a shelf in Glasgow's massive Mitchell Library. Can you get us any nearer the truth? What's happened to Andrew Ramsey?
This is probably one of the biggest crime stories to hit Scotland in recent years.
The inquiry itself is in many ways a mystery.
There's a lot of Chinese whispers, people with their own opinions.
On the face of it, Andrew Ramsey is a regular guy with a regular life. He is middle-aged, he has 2 grown-up children, and he's a law-abiding accountant. He is the last person I would expect to be at the centre of such a large-scale inquiry.
4 months ago, Andrew Ramsey was an anonymous member of the public. Now, his name and photograph is everywhere.
Andrew likes a social drink. He enjoys going to the pub, and the Quo Vadis was his regular haunt. Andrew was in the pub with his partner that night.
Come in, 2 games of pool, a couple of pints, like everybody else.
He was always very relaxed. There was no sign of him being in any danger.
Andrew and Beverly left the pub and walked the short distance along the road to a nearby off-sales cum small grocery.
I think that's right.
Yeah, that's sure.
You enjoy yourself.
That's great. I'll see you
Bye-bye
later.
now.
Bye-bye.
Andrew and Beverly walked a short distance along Paisley Road West, then turned into Berrynow's Road.
Berrynow's Road was busy at the time. A karate lesson was ending at a church opposite his home. And the whole area was thronged with Rangers fans heading for Ibrox and the big game with Villarreal.
Keep warm.
Mr. Ramsey? Yes? Police. You are Mr. Andrew Ramsey?
Yes.
You're arresting for fraud, sir.
You're arresting me for fraud?
Put your hands behind your back.
You're arresting him? Why? What's going on? Where are you taking him?
I've taken him to Stewart Street Police Station for questioning.
Later on, Beverly checked on Andrew's well-being.
Yeah, Andrew Ramsey, that's his name.
She could find no indication that he was in fact being held within a police office. It was quickly realised that these individuals were indeed bogus police officers.
Probably the most complex thing about these disappearances is there are no witnesses. No one has come forward in what's a very busy area to say they saw Andrew being bundled into the car.
Andrew is a mild-mannered, friendly person, well loved by all. If someone out there is holding Andrew against his will, then please release him.
No demands were ever made from the abductors. No ransom notes were ever submitted. And therefore, the reason for this abduction is still not entirely clear.
In any case, Andrew had no money for a ransom. He was a partly qualified accountant who got jobs as a bookkeeper doing tax returns for small companies. But he'd been out of work for months, and the day he disappeared he'd gone for a job interview. Did he owe somebody money? Had past debts caught up with him?
Successful businessman. But
or did someone suspect him of ratting on a deal? A month before he disappeared, he'd been interviewed by customs officers about a business fraud.
How long have you been an accountant? All my adult life.
It's not the normal way criminals in Scotland or in Glasgow operate. Were they wanting to silence Andrew or simply frighten him into silence, there are other means and more common means, a stabbing, a shooting.
To add to the mystery, Andrew had left behind his passport and his credit cards. Does that mean he's really been abducted? Or does it mean he's changed his identity?
Is he there or is he not?
There is more twist in this than a curly-whirly.
What about the likes of this?
Well, what about CVs?
On the day he vanished, Andrew bought hiking gear for a camping expedition.
Offer just now two for £30. They were $19.99 each. And the way's off to anyway.
We're going up to Braemar.
All right, yeah, excellent.
He seemed happy. He was looking forward to going on holiday, and he was just in good spirits generally.
If he was going to disappear, he was a man who was skilled in camping and hill walking. What better than to disappear into the hills? More and more people are coming to the conclusion, in the absence of any other evidence, that Andrew may in fact have faked his own disappearance.
My own personal opinion is I think he's actually faked it himself. People just don't go missing.
But they sometimes go abroad. And Andrew lived for a time in Belgium with the former model and country singer.
Strangely, only days before his disappearance, Andrew Ramsey contacted Marika Vanu and indicated to her that he intended going away for a while. And that is very strange considering he disappeared only days later.
There have been umpteen sightings of Andrew, but most appear to be of the Planet Elvis variety.
He was spotted in a post office in Paisley, walking along the street in Clarkson and Asda's in Grimsby. No sighting has been confirmed.
We'd like to know a conclusion to this, one way or the other.
Nobody knows where he is. Nobody's got a clue. He's just disappeared that night.
People want answers. They want answers to the questions. Has he been murdered? Has he been abducted? Has he faked his own abduction? Is he still alive?
So what's happened to Andrew? We're not after more speculation. Scotland's been buzzing with it for 4 months of that already. What we want is background or genuine suspicions based on fact. Call us if you know anything about his business dealings. Might he ever have worked for crooks or covered up a fraud? Call us if you know about where he got his money from. Did he have debts or did someone owe him cash? And call us if you know anything about his love life. If he's not been murdered, where would he have gone? We do have an e-fit from Beverly, Andrew's then girlfriend, of one of those bogus policemen. Call us if that's a face you can place. There's a £5,000 reward for any vital information. Just call here in the studio or call the instant room on 0141 532 5415. Or you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111. Now Jane has her sights trained on a man who's shown himself to be a late-night predator to women in Watford.
You're right there, Fiona, and if he's a pal of yours, you need to watch this. Self-restraint just isn't in this guy's dictionary. Take a really good look at this guy. People seeing him will know him, and they need to know what he gets up to on a night out. He's a real danger to women. We already know of one he's sexually assaulted, and there may be more. This is him with his back to us, in a very distinctive jumper with a white cross. He's walking down Watford High Street with a couple of mates. If they're watching, they need to call in. They'll be as disturbed as the rest of us about what he gets up to. The three are on their way to the area nightclub. Here's our man in the queue. Now he's inside the club. At just gone 2, he leaves and he goes to the gate car park. But he walks straight past the payment machines and closes in on these 2 girls. He looks behind a couple of times, then calls out to them. They ignore him, but as they get to the car, he grabs one of them, pulls her skirt up and tries to drag her away. There's a long drop down from where the girls were parked. Anything could have happened here. Thankfully, they manage to fight him off, and he runs away. But 15 minutes later, he's back. All the signs are he's on the prowl again. Alex, this guy is a real menace.
Yes, in my experience, it's very unusual for a man to target 2 women in a pair who are getting into their car after an evening out.
He'd barely been seen off by the 2 girls, and he appears to be back from all within minutes.
Yes, we don't even believe he had a car in the car park. It seems that he had a clear motive to go out there and attack a woman.
And you're pretty sure this isn't the first time that he's attacked women in this way?
That's right. We believe that the same thing happened a week ago, and the same man committed that crime against 2 women in similar circumstances, similar time of night.
This is really brazen, aggressive behaviour. Pals of his, especially the 2 that we've seen on CCTV, they need to call us.
It's vital that they call in and tell us who this man is. He's clearly a danger to women. He's out of control already, and I'm really concerned that his behaviour will escalate and that somebody will get seriously hurt.
If you're a friend or family to this man, do him a favour and call us. And if it's you, do yourself a favour. Call the incident room on 01992 533 241.
Take a look at this face. Regular looking guy, twinkle in the eye, trustworthy even, eh? Wrong. He is a very nasty piece of work. And the worst of it is he claims to be doing God's work, to be a pastor visiting from the Seychelles and in need of Christian fellowship. Well, you can tell that to Hetty Brown.
First impressions of him was that he was a normal young man, about the same age as my daughter, and wanting a little bit of mother love, really. We went out shopping together, we watched television together. He said he felt he was relaxed and happy. He said he had had an angiogram from a heart specialist and that he was waiting for treatment. But he would have to pay up front, and as his ATM card was still being rejected and the money hadn't come through from the Seychelles, he didn't know what to do. So I offered to lend him the money. We went off to see the specialist together because he said he was a bit frightened about the results of the tests he'd previously had. And he seated me in the left luggage area at Victoria Station and said he needed to go to the toilet, and I didn't see him again. I'd been a victim of a very, very clever deception.
And Amanda, you think he's done this a good deal more than once?
Yes, he's a very clever con man. He seems to target churches and their members, and I believe he's done it a number of times.
Do you know his name?
His real name is Harry Contier. For this particular offence, he used the name Henry Gontier. He does use many, many names, unfortunately.
It says he comes from the Seychelles. French accent?
He can have an accent, or in this case, the victim said he didn't have any accent at all, but he does speak fluent French and had a conversation with her in fluent French.
Well, you must be able to find this guy. You've got such good pictures of him. You know his name. How tall is he? What else do you know about him?
He's 6'2".
So he's really distinctively tall as well.
He is. Unfortunately, he does use 44 different aliases. Whilst we believe he's a diabetic, he's self-prescribed, so there's almost no way we can trace him at this stage.
But there may be a lot of other women out there, probably mostly women, you think?
Yeah, all churches or church members that he targets.
And you've got his handwriting as well. And the stuff that I've seen, he's been writing out biblical quotations. He knows his Bible. He knows his stuff.
Oh yeah, he's very well researched. He knows a lot of quotations, and he can quote things, you know, without ever looking at the Bible.
Yeah, he's just not very good on the Ten Commandments, is he?
No, unfortunately not, no.
And it's not just, of course, that he's been doing this illegitimately. Perhaps he's also known within proper legitimate church environments somewhat.
He could be, but as far as we're aware, a lot of the churches have now made contact with one another, and we still, you know, we don't know where he is at this stage.
Okay, well, you've got so much on him. Please, you know, we must be able to find this guy tonight. Just give us a call here in the studio, or you can call the instant room if you prefer. That's on 0208 247 5832. Ralph.
Well, the phones have been buzzing in this shiny new studio, but call me greedy, I still want more. Now, I'll take you back to the Appleby Fair rapes. Now, that was the horrific sex attacks on those 13 and 14-year-old girls last year. Too graphic for me to go into on air, but we urgently need to catch those responsible. And it looks like we're heading the right way. We've had 30 plus calls on that case, which is really encouraging. A couple of callers have asked to see the e-fit again, so we'll see if we can get that up for you. Have a good look. It will be on our website as well, I'm told. We've also had 3 names suggested for the attackers. Now remember, there is DNA evidence in that case, just as quick for us to eliminate someone as hopefully to prosecute. Lines are still very much open. If you can help with any of our cases, please do give us a call.
And we've also had a really rather interesting call on the Andrew Jones murder. We'll tell you about that later. Details of tonight's cases, all of them are on our website, bbc.co.uk/crime. Our lines are open until midnight tonight and from 7:30 till midnight tomorrow.
We're back after news with Crimewatch update at 10:40. Late in some regions. Join us if you can.
Crimewatch next month is on Wednesday, 19th of July. Whatever happens, don't have nightmares. Sleep well.